Hello everyone, welcome to another New York Times Daily Crossword Solve. We're at Tuesday, June 17th, 2025, and I might get interrupted partway through the solve. We'll see. Hopefully I don't. We are doing a puzzle today. I think a debut entry here by Taran Krishnamurthy, from what I hear, quite a young crossword constructor. So we'll see what Taran has in store for us here on this Tuesday by the circles. Some kind of theme. Okay, ride or dies in brief. Ride or die is a term for a sort of a steadfast supporter or friend. This could be BFFs, for best friends forever. Healthy ones may be square. Is this a pun for like date squares or something like that? Doesn't quite fit the way that they've phrased it. Let's see. Lively party could be like a romp or a fete or something like that. I'm trying to think of what answers often get clued with a party. We'll see. Came down to earth. I think we want alit here is a word for sort of landed in terms of an airplane or a bird or an insect or flying insect. Money in Thailand is the baht. I think it's spelled like this. B-A-H-T is the currency in Thailand. Skedaddle is to flee, I guess. To skedaddle, usually to leave. Not usually in the sense of fleeing, but I guess that's what they're going for here. Something one probably won't change one's mind on. A fixed something. Classic Beatles song written and sung by George Harrison. Classic. If this is fixed, this is going to start with hex, which doesn't sound familiar to me, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I do like the Beatles, but I don't know their entire catalog. Intervene, to step in. If you're intervening to something, you're stepping in. Windstorm, often accompanied by rain. A tempest? I guess it could be tempest. I mean, it certainly fits. But that wouldn't... Something one probably won't change one's mind on, so that wouldn't be fixed then here. But TEEP looks odd here too. Let's see what this is. An auction offers a bid. So, okay, so this is not going to be fixed. Something one probably won't. Oh, a firm belief. That could be it, and then this could be tempest. Okay, that works. Surrender, to cede. That's usually, I mean, surrender can mean many things, but the one that tends to come up in the crossword is to cede, as in to cede ground or to cede land. Cattle calls. Moose, I guess. I mean, a cattle call is a word for like a some kind of summoning of the hordes, the masses, but in this case it might just mean very literally the call that a cow makes. But then what's this? Healthy ones may be square. Certainly not dates, which is fine because I didn't like that answer anyway. Square, I don't know. Oh, square meals. Okay, yeah, so a healthy meal you could call a square meal. Okay, that works. Okay. A skate park trick. Well, that's a tongue twister. Skate park trick. I think it's called an ollie is what we're looking for here, but again, not sure the spelling. Street liners in parts of New England. Not sure. This looks like Here Comes the Sun. That fits, and that is certainly a Beatles song. I'm not totally confident that was written by George Harrison, but that certainly it looks like the answer. Word after ginger or pale, ginger ale or pale ale, a type of beer. Online post whose title may begin the top 10 best something or other. These were called for a while listicles, but they're looking for the singular here. A listicle. BuzzFeed was famous or infamous for those. So I guess this is going to be like this. Dolly, the skate park trick. Rogan of the studio in the interview. This is Seth Rogen, the actor and interviewer, I guess. Learn by word of mouth. I guess just hear. If you hear a rumor or something like that, as you could call it hearsay. Something that you learned by word of mouth. Shakespeare's Globe, for example, was a theater. Now, how do they want this spelled? Like that, maybe? Let's see. I always forget which spelling is the American, which spelling is the British or Canadian. Choice at KFC. Breast? Like chicken breast? I thought they usually just asked white meat or dark meat. Maybe that's Swiss Chalet. Anyway, that looks like it's probably right. A lively party could be a bash then. What's this? Sharpen as skills is to hone your skills is to sharpen your skills. A cowboy boot attachment is a spur. That's the things that make that classic noise in cowboy movies, a little metal ring at the back of the heel of a boot. Defaulter's loss in brief. I think this is going to be a repo, like a repossession of a house or a property if you default on your loans. I guess that's what they're going for there. They're a matter of taste. I think that's going to be aesthetic or aesthetics. Volcanic output is ash. Aesthetics, yeah, that looks right. What's this long one here? Mathematician, philosopher who wrote I Think, Therefore I Am. This is the mathematician and philosopher, René Descartes. Lots of extra letters unpronounced in there, but that's what it is. Still not. Oh, streetliners in parts of New England are going to be elm trees, I guess. Makes good sense, but I wouldn't have necessarily thought that. Outdoor gear giant. Really do not know the answer to that. Subject for some new U.S. residents. Subject for some new U.S. residents. I would have thought it'd be U.S. history, but it doesn't look right here. ESL, maybe? It's like English as a second language. That could work. I don't know that we use that terminology here in Canada anymore. Yeah. Anyway, talks in all caps. Say the sort of equivalent of typing in all caps is yelling. So someone who's talking in all caps, you could say that if you talk in all caps, you yell. I'm not sure how to put that in a sentence structure that gets yells, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Make it snappy, ASAP, as soon as possible. Easter egg colorings are dyes used to decorate Easter eggs at Easter time. A sidekick is a pal. Cut back is, I would have thought prune maybe, to cut back. Don't know. Get tangled up. Don't know that either. Pilots a plane. Aviates. The verb aviate, to fly a plane usually is kind of mechanical something. To cut back is to pare. You could pare back. I mean, usually this would be the kind of thing you'd want the back in brackets to indicate, in parentheses, to indicate that the answer will use the word back as well as the clue. But I guess you could just say to pare by itself. With 41 across, popular candy represented by the circled letters. So in 17 across, we have Reese's. In 26 across, we have Reese's. Okay, so we're looking for Reese's Pieces. And I guess the idea is that the word Reese's is in pieces in each of these. We'll take a closer look at that at the end. Get tangled up. Ravel. Oh, interesting. You never hear that word by itself. You usually hear it in the opposite, in the contronym, unravel, which means to untangle. But I guess if you get tangled up, you ravel. Like Santa's helpers, elfin. Usually it's elfin, maybe. Let's see. Garage sale caveat as is. Usually purchase things as is without any guarantee for their condition. Went through the air like a perfectly thrown football. Usually a perfectly thrown football spirals to get the particular arc that you're looking for. A sixth of the way through the hour. 10 past the hour is a sixth of the way through that particular hour. Suffix with percent. Percentile is a way of measuring sort of your rank amongst a group of, let's say, test takers. So if you're in the 98th percentile, that means you scored better than, equal to or better than 98% of the people taking the test. Aware of as dangers. It could be alert to, you're alert to those dangers. Not totally confident in that, but confident enough to put it in. Many an IRS employee, I guess, is going to be a CPA, a chartered professional accountant. Wave peaks are crests, the peak of a wave, the crest of the wave. Sequel, title, Ender Part 2, like Dune Part 2, you could say. And with II representing, in Roman numerals, representing the numeral 2. Reason for overtime, if a game is going into overtime, usually because the teams are tied. Chandelier singer 2014 is Sia, the singer who sang the song Chandelier. Tennis is Gibson, who won back-to-back Wimbledons and U.S. Opens. Althea Gibson, for whom a court is named on which, in which facility? Now I don't remember. Is it Flushing Meadows in New York, where the U.S. Open is held? It might be, because I think Althea Gibson was American. Not 100% sure. Oh, and we can fill in, I guess, the rest of the Reese's here. Okay. Wireless standard initials. LTE is the sort of the system by which cell phone service gets delivered. Experience humiliation. Eat dirt could be a way of saying that you are being humiliated. A pedicured digit, a toe. I mean, it's going to be a toe or a finger. Oh, no, sorry, a finger would be manicured. Pedicured digit is a toe. Well-clued. Sensitive skin spots or sores. And a handicraft site is Etsy, etsy.com, where you can buy handmade items and many other non-handmade items nowadays. R&R, rest and relaxation, time off, I guess is what they're looking for there. And like many dorm rooms, they are messy, and proof of ownership is a deed, as to a house, for example. So what's this? Does some door-to-door campaigning. I should be able to get this, but I can't see it right away. Let's get some crosses. Language in which the first 4 counting numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4. So Hindi actually is the case, but Urdu and Hindi are actually kind of the same language. They use different writing systems, but and have some sort of colloquialisms or some sort of linguistic specialties. But in effect, Hindi and Urdu are the same language, and as they're spoken, they can be understood by mutually understood by speakers of those two languages. Shady in modern lingo is sus, I guess short for suspicious. 18-wheeler, an 18-wheeler truck is called a semi, and I finally learned why. It's because the cab is the part of it that actually is autonomous in the sense that it can drive itself. The part that the cargo part of it, the back part of it that has all the wheels, is not autonomous, and so is not considered a motor vehicle. I forget what semi it is, but that's only half of it is autonomous. That's why it's called that. To own up to something is to admit it, or to fess up in another way of saying it. Relaxing retreats are spas. Spades or diamonds in card games are suits, but they only want one, so it's a suit. Host's directive to a guest, sit, won't you sit? Presses the... I still don't know what this is. There's clearly an idiom here that I'm not getting. A bloke is a fella, is another way of saying a bloke, a sort of casual way of saying a guy or a dude, or a person, a man. Sports star who debuted with the New York Cosmos in 1975. What fits here is Pele, the soccer player, and the timing seems like it might be right, but I just don't know if that's actually right. An Insta upload is a pic, and with Instagram being shortened to Insta, you're clued that the picture should be shortened to pic as well. It looks like it is Pele. Tahiti, for example, is an island. Jackie of Rush Hour is Jackie Chan, who starred in both Rush Hour. There's only two, right? I think Jackie Chan and what's his name? Oh, what was his co-star's name? I can't remember. I can see his face, but I can't remember his name. Anyway, typical high school student, like this puzzle's constructor. So I was right. This is a puzzle by a high school student, typically a teen. And a tennis do-over is called a let. If a serve hits the net on its way over and lands in sort of fair territory within the accepted bounds of where a serve needs to land, that's called a let, and the server gets to do it again without any penalty. And so this, I guess, is presses the flesh, which I guess is a reference to handshakes. I'm pretty sure that's... I'm not terribly familiar with this, but that's the only thing I can think of that means. Okay, and there's our Tuesday crossword. So a really clean, I think, puzzle by our debut constructor, Taran Krishnamurthy, high school student. Really cool. Reese's Pieces is our theme here, and not only is Reese's in pieces in each of these answers, each of these across answers. Here comes the sun, René Descartes, and presses the flesh, but also the word, the name of Reese's Pieces is here in pieces, two pieces as well. So very cute theme here, and some well-clued things. I liked this. Healthy Ones maybe square threw me off for a little bit, but it got it eventually. And what else here? This one I didn't even know. A windstorm often accompanied by rain is a tempest. I mean, I know what a tempest is. I thought I knew what a tempest was, but maybe it is this very specific thing. Cool. What else? Aviates. I quite like that word. Eat dirt. You don't see that often in the crossword, but happy to see it here. Spiraled is great. A kind of a little bit of a niche piece of knowledge there, but maybe not. I mean, a lot of people know much more about football than I do. Yeah, really nice. Okay. Hello. Sorry about that. My office mate just wandered in for a moment. Anyway, so that is our Tuesday puzzle, and I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, and we will see you again probably at least one more time later this week. Thanks so much.